Hi, my name's Christian Flutter and thank you for joining me today. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about supplements that may help to boost your immune system's function. Currently we're going through a wonderful bit of coronavirus stuff all around the world, and every little bit of help may be necessary. So let's go through 5 of the more common supplements that we utilize in our practice. Now the first one that we typically find, and this is very commonly associated with colds and flus, is good old-fashioned vitamin C. Vitamin C is incredibly useful when it comes to helping boost our immune system function. And in fact, there have been many studies done to it to date that look at the efficacy of vitamin C at shortening the duration of illness and also reducing the severity of flu-like symptoms. So this one might be a very useful one to have in the cupboard in case you need to get on top of a bit of a cold or a flu that's creeping in. Now, one thing about vitamin C though is it actually comes in more than one form. See, we typically think of ascorbic acid when it's with vitamin C, but ascorbic acid has actually been associated with a short decrease in immune system function before a net improvement in overall health and well-being. Now you can get around this one by using ascorbate complexes. There are many mineral ascorbate complexes. Now these ones don't have that initial drop off, they just jump straight in to being beneficial. Next, I'd like to talk about another one. It's called vitamin D. Now, we don't really think about vitamin D when it comes to colds and flus and sickness and snuffles, but vitamin D is actually incredibly helpful throughout your entire body. It's one of these vitamins that almost can be considered a hormone. It is so abundantly used within our body systems. But in this scenario, we're looking at in terms of immune system function, and that's where it's very effective. See, vitamin D is useful to help balancing out our immune system's regulation. So instead of being underactive, it might help to bring our systems up. Instead of being overactive, it might help to bring our systems down. It helps to put us into a nice bit of balance for proper immune system function. Now, it's also very useful at helping to regulate a lot of inflammation. Now, the first bit that comes with any type of virus or an infection is often inflammation. So to be able to regulate that one can be very helpful. But don't we get vitamin D from the sun? Well, it depends on how much sunlight you get. I mean, how often do kids get told to put on your hat, put on your sunscreen, wear a t-shirt, stay in the shade? We tend to avoid a lot of sun-based activity these days. And as a result, we may not have quite enough vitamin D. Supplement-wise, did you know some lactating mothers, see, the demand of vitamin D is so great for a baby that some lactating mothers need up to 6,000 IU of vitamin D per day in order to get adequate vitamin D across through their breast milk to baby. So an additional bit of vitamin D supplementation may be of use to get your immune system working better as well. Now, third on the list, I'd like to talk about this one here. This one's called ENT Immune Care. ENT Immune Care is kind of like a combination. It's not quite a multivitamin, much more like a multi-immune boosting supplement. It contains a bit of astragalus, which is a traditional Chinese medicine herb that's utilized for respiratory tract infections, while it also does contain a bit of vitamin C, a bit of vitamin D, and also zinc. Now, zinc is another one that's really helpful at boosting or supercharging our immune system's function. It's utilized by our white blood cells, the guys that fight off all the bad guys. I like to think of them as Pac-Man cells. You know, they come along and chomp away all the bad guys, but they need zinc to be able to do that. So a supplement that contains that bit of zinc, always going to be of benefit. Next, I'd like to talk about Super Mushroom Complex. How great does that sound? The minute you've got super in front of anything, it makes it just sound that much more super. And I mean, mushrooms can't be that bad. I mean, that's surely the reason why Mario Brothers even used the mushroom to help them grow big and strong. You know, that and possibly other reasons. But let's think about it in terms of immune system function. See, mushrooms have actually got a couple of extra benefits to what we realize. They have antiviral properties. Mushrooms can actually stop viruses from being able to penetrate into the cell by creating a layer around the outside of our own cells. They have been shown to reduce the ability of a virus to replicate its own DNA. Now, when you do this, that's going to shorten the time frame of what you're going to have when you're sick. So it'll help to shorten the duration of your illness. So the last supplement I'd like to talk about are probiotics. How good are probiotics? We're in fact becoming a lot more understanding about the importance of gut health in relation to just about everything to do with us. We're seeing gut health tied in with conditions like autism and depression. So gut health is very, very important. Now, whereabouts are we going to get proper gut health from? It's by ingesting good bacteria. Now this can come in the form of probiotics in some situations, but also fermented foods can be very helpful when it comes to settling down and getting our gut working properly. Now the thing is though, probiotics for sniffles and snuffles, how does that work? Surely probiotics are more for like when your guts are feeling a little unhappy and for when there's a shortage of toilet paper and you need to make sure that you're not going to have to dash off because you've got a case of, well, less formed number twos. Thankfully, there's a lot of research out there that shows probiotics have a benefit for respiratory tract infections as well. They do this by two pathways. Now, the first one is they look at the release of a substance known as secretory IgA. Now, this secretory IgA, it forms like a layer, a protective layer over surfaces like our lungs and inside our gut. And it stops the invading bad guys from being able to get in and helps to protect us in that way. And the second thing is they provide a protective effect by helping to regulate our immune system function as well, especially our acquired immune system. See, they did this trial where they looked at a bunch of kids who had been taking probiotics on a regular basis and compared them to those who had not. Now, over the course of this trial, they actually found that the kids who were taking probiotics on a regular basis fell sick far less frequently, and when they did fall sick, they had less severe symptoms to their non-probiotic counterparts. Also interestingly, in that study, kids who were sick and needed antibiotics recovered better when they were on probiotics at the same time. So probiotics have a very helpful protective effect on our immune system. So given everything that's going on at the moment, taking some probiotics may be of benefit to boost up your immune system and to create that protective layer to stop any invading pathogens, coronavirus, from getting into our system. I hope that's been useful for you. Now, what you may have noticed is I didn't really talk a lot about dosage. Dosage is very much tied into your specific case. So if you have a bit of a question or if you're unsure about what to be taking, have a chat to your health professional. Integrative GPs, naturopaths are absolutely wonderful at this kind of stuff. So have a chat with them and see what needs to be done for you. Otherwise, if you have any other questions, you can always ask Dr. Christian.